Hello YouTube. That's what people do when they start videos. I notice they say hi YouTube, so I'm saying hi, greetings, and shaking your hands, maybe giving you a cuddle too. So I tried to do a 1 year of transitioning update a few days ago. It's interesting because I've always felt like I've been transitioning my whole life. However, 1 year chemically, I suppose. Strongly chemically, according to my last blood results. Anyway, so today is the 22nd of March 2014, and so it's a little bit late, 10 days late, because I've been really depressed. Really. Anyway, today's a really good day. Today is the first day that I've had a bit of light shining and stuff happening, which is great. And so I don't really have an agenda for what I want to talk about, but I can talk about what just happened to me 10 minutes ago. I was in the toilet at a shopping centre after the gym, and I got to train today, yes. And I was listening to really bad music, like Eminem stuff, like I'm so controversial, rah rah. And so I was having a bit of a jig and washing my hands. Anyway, security decided to come up to me and say, excuse me, this is the ladies. And I said, yes, it is. I said, what makes you think I'm not a lady, you know? And it was interesting because, and they looked at me quite confused, and I said, well, would you like to see my credentials? How do I prove I'm not a man? I don't consider myself a lady at all, and it was interesting that I used that language because it was just like, I do belong here. However, it was interesting that it happened just then, because previous to that I went to the toilet in the same place like an hour before then, because I'm peeing all the bloody time, you know, raw vegan, lots of water, and I was just getting those looks, you know, and I was thinking, I don't mind anymore, you know. And it's interesting to come to a place after a year of, you know, I can see why, you know, how I've developed into this. As long as I know what I'm doing and I'm comfortable, that is all that matters, essentially. And you know, I look at myself and I think, well, yeah, I don't blame them for going, huh? And I was getting it a lot today. I was getting read as male a lot, and I wasn't packing today until now because I feel like it. So that's changed as well. Like, I don't feel like I need to. Like, I've been packing and strapping on and off my whole life, and you know, I don't feel like I need to anymore. The more comfortable I feel in my masculinity, the less I kind of need other things. And I, you know, get read as male with no bra and no jocks and with clothes on though, usually. So, you know, I'm so lucky I've come into this space where I've got a body that can present as either male or female, and that's what I wanted. So it's time for me to slow down on the testosterone and just have a very low base rate. I got some blood results back the other day, and you know, they say that sustanon, which is a particular kind of testosterone, quite, you know, common for FTM guys and trans people in Australia, that it has 4 different esters in it, which means it has 4 different oils in it that kind of time how it comes out and works through your body, right? So for me, though, I'm very, very sensitive to testosterone. So I've always had my base levels checked, and they've always been in the lower range of a male, right in the trough levels, and that's cool, that's fine. I never had my peak levels tested until the other day. And I honestly don't know why I haven't had a heart attack or a stroke or something, because you know, I'm sitting here with triple figures of testosterone in my blood. That's just outstanding. The fact that having a dose, you know, I'm that sensitive to it, and I take it very little, because, you know, other guys take it every 2 weeks. Well, I don't have to take it that much. So anyway, I'm changing to primatestin, which has a shorter acting lifespan. So I'm going to, because what happens is it spikes for me. It goes through the roof like it has in the last few days, and then it drops right down. My body metabolizes it really well. I just, you know, again, it's the same way I felt a year ago. It's like a fish to water. I just took to this like a fish to water. Like, not just physically, but everything was aligned emotionally and spiritually for me to be in a place whereby I could actually cope with this. And I have coped with this, and it's been one of the hardest years, but one of the best years as well. And you know, I've also discovered I have a really big discrepancy between my body dysphorics and my social dysphorics, and I have a lot of stuff I still need to work with in regards to losing access to women's space. Even though, you know, I don't feel like I always belonged in the ladies, like today, for example, or in women's space, I don't necessarily want to lose access to that, because that's what I've always known. That's how I've been socialised, you know. And I also have fear about being read as a heterosexual male. So I've got to deal with those kinds of things before I continue progressing in a more masculine spectrum, I don't know, it's not a bloody, we're not talking about Asperger's, you know what I mean, or something. It's just, I don't think sex and gender is a linear experience. I really don't. I believe it's quite cyclical, and I believe that what I'm experiencing is the physical manifestation of a spiritual knowing that I've wanted my whole life. And I was lucky that my timing is good for the most part in regards to legalities and having paperwork and, you know, support. And even yesterday when I got my another blood test, like my Medicare thing, or my pathology form says you on it, and the person was writing it out, and they go, male or female? And I said, well, I'm not either. I said, it says you on my form. Oh, I can't write you. What's you mean? And I said, well, it could mean unspecified, or it could mean unknown, and that's it. It's just you. She was very reluctant to write the you on the pathology on the little vial thing, but you know, it's an ongoing. It's something that I have to deal with almost every day, and I think that it highlights a difference for me between just being ftm, which in and of itself is outstanding and amazing, and I have a lot of respect for people who can go through that and do that, and in either way, anyway, whatever, any kind of gender sex expression that's outside of, you know, the heteronormative go hard. Like, yeah, I love it. However, the issues that I face are very different, because I have to come out every occasion of service, and I have to come out, and that's something I accept now, is that this is going to be an ongoing part of my life. I can't expect the world to all of a sudden not think in polarities. That's what we've always known as above, so below, you know, and there's always going to be the darkness and the light. Even the early alchemists, I keep thinking about the alchemy lately, and, you know, you have fire and water, and just, you know, that creating opposites to make a center, to make it, you know, androgynous a thing. And I'm really liking the term androgyny more. I'm reading a lot about that, about the history of androgynous figures in religion, in spirituality, in myth, and all that kind of stuff, and I'm preferring that in a sense, because saying the term non-binary is still saying binary. So you know, I prefer, and yeah, I prefer androgynous, because that's how I've always felt. So I mean, it kind of makes sense. I mean, yeah, like initially when I was 18 and first diagnosed with gender dysphoria, I knew I was an ftm back then. I knew it, and in order to access testosterone and do things back then, I had to lie, and I didn't want to do that, so I didn't, and here I am, and, you know, I'm a year into transitioning and still facing a lot of, like I said, you know, even fears about losing access to sexuality, fears about, you know, being read in certain ways and things. My thing is not passing. I don't have this whole passing thing is different for me as well, because I mean, I could say I'm really lucky, because I just get to be me, and that's enough for me, right? However, I've learnt that it's not enough for some people, and I have lost a lot of friends, and I think that sometimes people, you know, they just get attached to a concept of others and their friends and stuff, and I've let it be known, like physically known now in this body, that I'm not that. And even though my closer friends knew that, there were other people that didn't, and it's been a kind of culling process. And then there's the other side of it, when I get people that I've never met in my life coming up to me and saying thank you for being visible, and thank you for showing your ass. You're in a transitioning body and being basically naked and out there, and I am, and, you know, I take stock of this, and I'm like, hang on a second. I'm also, you know, a very minor public figure, but still a known person in the community, and that's you know, that's an absolute honour. And to kind of be doing this at this time was the hardest time I could have done it, but I couldn't wait anymore, and I couldn't. The occasion arose, and here I am, and I don't regret a damn thing. You know, I don't regret a thing. I think it's almost like, well, maybe in a sense, by transitioning in a title year, I might have made it easier for other people, and I know that I have, because I have conversations with complete strangers in rural New South Wales going, where do I find help for this, and I feel like this, and I don't know what to do, and do you have the number for, and I'm constantly referring them to different services and stuff, because, you know, I'm not one of those, because some guys, they get on here and they go, if you're thinking about transitioning, just do it. Would be so cautious to ever advise anyone to transition unless it's something that they've been feeling consistently for a long time, and have a lot of support and a lot of personal inner resources to cope with the little things like today, you know, because depending on kind of where you're transitioning to, the challenges can be overwhelming, and at times for me they have been overwhelming, and I'm not a unstable person. I'm not I would consider myself to be quite well-rounded and generally stable, even though the last couple of weeks I've been really isolating and depressed. However, that's a reactional thing related to spinal injury, so you know, that's fair enough. However, you just don't know. You just don't know how it's going to affect you and your social life and your friendships, and you know, the social stuff for me has definitely been the hardest. I absolutely love that I look at myself in the mirror and I wink or I smile and I'm like, I know you, I remember you. It's kind of like there's this you thing now and not this, and I don't it's interesting how much my character, like, I'm the same person, but my character's changed in the sense that I don't feel I need to push being masculine, I suppose you could say. I don't have to exert a certain, you know, like, it's been really reflective going through this, in the sense of, like, I can just see my early 20s and seeing myself, and I was so angry and so always books, always whatever, you know, this shit, yeah. And because I was constantly overcompensating for being in a female body, and whenever I was femme, it was basically because I was just feeling like a femme fag. And now I get to express this broad range of gender and whatever, which I always did anyway. However, I actually own it now. It's actually me. I you know, like yesterday I was strutting around in a pair of heels and a corset and fishnets, and I felt like such a bloke. I feel like such a bloke when I'm in high femme, like when I'm actually taking myself seriously, not taking the piss, as in, like, so camp. When I'm actually being, like, I feel hot in this, I feel good in this. It's not, I'm taking the piss out of gender roles. I'm actually just expressing another part of myself that before I didn't do, that I didn't have, you know, didn't have that option, or it felt like that. So I'm a year in, and I still don't have much facial hair, which is great, because I don't really want much facial hair. Genetically speaking, it's probably not going to happen, which is cool. And I love Alejandro. I love my moustache. I like my insinuation of hair, my sideys, you know. And it's interesting, like, guys always talk about, you know, the way things look, you know, and it's like, oh, I've got hair here and I got this and this happened, but, you know, the physical stuff is essentially the least important thing. It really is. Essentially, the physical stuff is just, like, it's a grounding, and it's a manifesting of it's important, yeah, fully, right? And I understand that, you know, and I love it. I freaking love it. Hey, I'm not discrediting it. I'm not making it illegitimate, like it doesn't matter. It does matter. It's just, it's such a minimal aspect of it. And, you know, coping with not being able to access your emotions in the same way, or not being able to cry, or not bleeding, not having a menstrual cycle and things like that. There's so much, huge life-changing, you know, and I would never go, you know, if say for example what I'm doing is going forward, right? Say transitioning now chemically is going forward. I would never go back. I cannot ever see myself ever being okay with going back to where my body was. So it is an essential aspect of it. What I would like to see is more people discussing the emotional implications of it, because just because I would, because I think it's irrelevant. And you know, for me, I'm exploring my own body in ways that I never did before, and my sexuality is changing. I mean, it's always been changing. However, it's I'm finding new ways of expressing myself, kind of, and that's really cool. Without taking the piss, too, like I'm actually going, no, this is serious. I feel good about this. This is what I want to do. It's not kind of like, I'll try anything twice and have a bit of a joke about it and doing it. It's like, I want to explore this part of myself, and I want to reflect on it. I want to engage with someone in a meaningful way, and I want to discuss it, and I want to, it's not, I don't feel that I have to overcompensate for anything, like, in the physical sense. So the physical stuff is really important, so it's allowed me to come into a space where I'm feeling more balanced. I'm feeling that more of what I'm doing is coming from my heart, instead of insecurities or fears about appearing too feminine. Now I can be femme as all ass get out, right? And feel that when I'm doing so, I'm actually more secure in my masculinity. So I don't know if that makes sense. I believe that I was made a bit backwards, and that's okay with me. Like that when I'm just wearing my normal boy, whatever you want to call these guys, normal, it's very different than when I present in a dress. And when I present in a dress, I feel like a bloke. So, essentially I might be a cross-dresser. However, to be a cross-dresser, I have to have a sex or a gender. And that's the hardest thing is not having a sex. But trying to negotiate, particularly with gay men or anyone, about, well, I'm not actually FTM. And then the genital questions and all that, like negotiating my sexuality with people who don't get trans stuff has been huge, absolutely huge. So anyway, I didn't have an agenda, and I've just gone blah blah, and that is my 1 year update. And I'm just gonna see if I can move without like dropping the camera thing over the bed. So hang on, wait, because I just oh, sweetie, this little one wants to say hello. Hey, say hello. Say hello, J-Tube. She's my baby. She's a big bumpy. So yeah, we're gonna have some lunch, and I'm gonna get on with it. So happy 1 year Trannyversary to me, and I'm gonna have to do something to celebrate. I don't know, man, like, disregarding the last little bit of isolating and stuff, my life's pretty good, and I get lots of chances to celebrate. Maybe I can just dress up like an idiot and have some fun, so that's what I might do. Okay, say bye. Say bye. Say bye-bye, YouTube. And kiss. Wonky kiss. Okay, see ya.